Sheffield Wednesday stay undefeated. Ipswich, Plymouth and Barnsley all win too, meaning absolutely no let-up in the relentless League One promotion race. Welcome to our regular Sunday look at this frantic third-tier promotion story. Things started early for us this weekend as Sheffield Wednesday and Bolton drew 1-1 on Friday night. It was a 23rd undefeated league game for the Owls, who have now not lost for half a season. Wednesday's run has built up so much credit in the bank that they can certainly absorb a draw here and there. The absurdly high standards at the top mean they're now only 3 points clear of third place, but time to potentially cash in that credit in the bank is coming up with their games in hand appearing on the calendar during the next two midweeks. If Wednesday can put 7 to 10 points on in their busy 4-game run before Easter, then high 90s or more is very much on. Any slips will be a bonus for the chasers, but until I see that actually happening across all 4 of these games, they're still very much my champions elect. Plymouth needed to bounce back and did. Forest Green at home at the moment is a lovely game. And Argyle's home park total is now a preposterous 52 points. Honestly, we learned very little we didn't already know about Plymouth, but we'll come back and talk about a really interesting couple of catch-up games this coming Tuesday containing Plymouth and 2 of the other members of our current top 4. Ipswich also won. A little bit of a harder assignment against what can be an awkward Shrewsbury side. That is 6 straight wins, 7 straight clean sheets for Kieran McKenna's side, who got no favours elsewhere. So, as it turns out, a win was absolutely vital to keep up the pace with everybody and stay right behind Plymouth. In this game of who's going to blink first, nobody blinked this weekend. That also means a win for Barnsley, whose visit to Wycombe was probably the toughest game for the sides in that second place race. That is 9 wins in 11 for the Tykes, who have the look of a side just churning out the victories as second nature at the moment. They weren't, honestly, at their formidable best. Mike Duff admitted as much, but the momentum and the muscle memory was definitely working for Barnsley on Saturday. Before we get on to this fascinating Tuesday night coming up, for the first time in this must-watch promotion race, it does feel like we can rule off 2nd to 4th and 5th to 8th. Bolton in 6th will be happy to have taken a point at Hillsborough, but they're far from in the winning form they were back in January and February. And Derby certainly had the worst result of the top 6 teams this weekend, going under 2-0 at home to Fleetwood. Rams boss Paul Warne sounded absolutely furious with the performance and is probably going to hope it's a kick up the backside and a bit of a jolt to get things going for Derby once again. They have failed to win 6 of their last 9, and just like Bolton, they just don't have the winning momentum they did a month or so ago. Really going to want to get it back. Derby and Bolton will have both had an eye on the early kickoff this Saturday too. Peterborough are not miles off it now. And you guessed it, next Saturday, Peterborough versus Derby. Right, let's get on to Tuesday night, which could be absolutely huge. 3 of the top 4 in action, and I'm very pleased to say I will be at Oakwell for Barnsley versus Sheffield Wednesday. Look out for the vlog. For Wednesday, it feels like somewhat of a final hurdle, doesn't it? After that, 8 straight games against bottom half teams. I think anything other than a Barnsley win and the hard work is done. And let's be blindly honest here. Even if Barnsley did win, you could still see Sheffield Wednesday winning 5 or 6 of the next 8 and being there or as good as there with 2 games to go. Now, what a Barnsley win would, of course, do is throw them right in the mix in the slipstream of Ipswich in 3rd. Annoyingly for Barnsley, they would have had a chance to really reel Ipswich in at the weekend, but that scheduled game has now been cancelled due to international call-ups. What we do get, though, is we get it kicked down the road a bit. An incredibly exciting matchup then. Barnsley versus Ipswich, April the 25th, with just 2 rounds to go after that one's played. Could be incredibly high stakes by that point. For Barnsley, I guess it's a case of get in touch, stay in touch. I would say though that while a win is what both sides will obviously want, for Wednesday and Barnsley, I don't think a draw or defeat is a complete killer yet. You absolutely cannot say the same though for Plymouth's trip to Accrington. The Pilgrims have to go there and get the win in what is their final game before the Easter doubleheader with that Pizza Cup final in between. If I add a game onto Plymouth's total and no points, then Ipswich and Barnsley could pass with wins in their games in hand. Yes, of course, I know it's not that simple, and we know Plymouth's fixtures do look far nicer than both their nearest rivals, but their destiny right now is in their own hands, and Plymouth are going to want to keep it that way. So in short, no let up, no blinking this weekend, and some mouth-watering fixtures coming up on Tuesday. Absolutely brilliant stuff you have to say from all four now at the top. Wednesday breaking records for not losing. Plymouth probably going to break records for home form. Ipswich breaking records for not conceding in 7 games, whilst Barnsley are going like an absolute train behind the three of them. I said way back in December someone would miss out on automatic with 90 plus points. If this carries off, could we actually have 2 teams miss out with 90 plus points? Get your views in, have your say down there in the comments on this past weekend and a fascinating Tuesday coming up. Keep pouring over those fixture lists and league tables. We love the debate, and so many people keep telling me, Ben, you'd rather play teams that are on the beach in mid-table than fighting for their lives at the bottom. Why not click here to see the evidence and find out whether what you keep hearing is a load of old wives' tales or is actually true?